Welcome back, everyone. We're getting a lot of great live tweets. Keep them coming for the Kudlow Report. I appreciate it. Now, from the House to the Senate, where another one of Washington's most powerful people is joining the Kudlow call to action. I sat down exclusively with Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell earlier today. Please take a listen. Senator Mitch McConnell, welcome back to the Kudlow Report, sir.
Glad to be with you, Larry.
Let me talk about American budget policy. You've recently said not a single one of the 47 Senate Republicans will vote to raise the debt ceiling unless some credible effort, unless something credible is done about our debt. Can you expand on that? What something credible would be necessary to vote for an increase in the debt ceiling?
Well, first, let's just talk about the situation. We have now divided government. The American public last November decided to, as one pundit put it, issue a restraining order against the actions of this administration over the first 2 years. Divided government frequently has done very important things. This is a time to do important things. Our debt situation is extremely dangerous. We now have a $14 trillion cumulative debt, the size of our economy. We begin to look a lot like Greece. Over and above that, we have over $50 trillion in unfunded liabilities in Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, promises we've made that we cannot keep. This is an important time in our history to begin to get our fiscal house in order. And the president, so far, is remarkably passive, just sort of sitting on the sidelines. So what I have said, to get back to your question, there are 53 Democrats and 47 Republicans. 53 Democrats can vote for a clean debt ceiling increase if they want to. But 47 Republicans, I'm quite confident, are going to insist that we use that opportunity, which is all about our debt, to do something important about our debt.
How about a spending limitation? A number of Republicans have raised this. Senator Corker has raised this, something like 21% of GDP. If I'm not mistaken, your whip, Senator Kyle, has raised it also, Senator Mike Lee and others. A spending limitation, a debt limitation, an entitlement package. It's kind of hard to do in the next 6 or 8 weeks, but would those qualify as conditions?
All of those are the kinds of things that would be considered significant by the markets, by the American people, and by foreign countries. And we're in the process within the Republican conference of looking at statutory solutions. Senator Corker's got a creative and interesting one. And we're also looking at a constitutional amendment. That would not be a good candidate for a debt ceiling because the president, under our Constitution, is not involved in a constitutional amendment to balance the budget. He doesn't play a role in that. Entitlement reform, a lot of study has already been done. The president's own entitlement debt reduction commission has done a lot of study over the last year. All of these issues have been studied thoroughly. What is lacking so far is the political will to tackle them.
Speaking of rhetorical shifts, President in his news conference last Friday, said he was in favor of domestic drilling, domestic oil and gas production. Do you believe him?
Well, I remember one previous president said, watch what we do, not what we say. And there's no question this administration has made it tougher to drill both on and offshore in this country. It's harder to get permits. We've had to suffer through an endless moratorium in the Gulf after the BP spill that is totally unpopular all across the southeastern United States because it's costing us jobs. So the question is not what the president's saying, but what he's doing. We need to quit this anti-production view that's been pervasive. It needs to stop. The anti-production view that's so pervasive in the administration. It needs to change. He's the president. He can change it if he wants to.
When you heard PIMCO's Bill Gross, the big investment manager out west, he says he's pulling out of the U.S. Treasury bond market. What kind of signal do you take that to be? What do you and the other senators feel that kind of negativism towards bonds pushes the deficit reduction, pushes the budget issue to the front page and to the front of your agenda? Are we losing time on this? If too many Bill Grosses pull out, who's going to buy our debt?
Well, I think the message is this is a serious problem, and it's a problem now. I mean, you get the impression the president hopes to finesse this past the next election. That's fine if it'll wait that long. There are many experts who come and talk to us here in the Senate who believe we need to act and act now. And as I've suggested, Larry, I think the time to act is in connection with the debt ceiling. We all know the kinds of actions we could take that would be viewed about the bond market, for example, as an indication the American government is going to get its house in order. We know what the steps are that need to be taken. We need to reach out and grab them with both hands and pass them.
All right, Senator Mitch McConnell, Republican leader, we appreciate it very much, sir.
Thank you, Larry.
All right, many thanks to Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell. He said to me, higher taxes are not on the table. By the way, you can watch or read more on CNBC.com right now. Up next, the